That's the only thing that's ever worked for me. So
Yeah, I see segments, live view, intro. Okay. So I
Q4 goals, everything.
so I guess we both like see this.
I guess so. It'll be interesting what happens when we hit start.
Cool.
Uh, all right, yeah. So we're live here. Hey,
Just my
folks.
light.
Had had a nice chat going on here with everybody. Everybody. Yeah, before it even got going here.
It's weird how I still look dark even though I have this massive light on my face right now.
Oh, I think your lighting's pretty good.
All right.
I
Works
think
for
it's
me.
pretty good. What's this do? What's this do? Oh, you can't really switch. I'm just fiddling around with this thing. Oh, now I messed it up.
All right.
Oh,
What's
there we
up,
go.
people? We got the regulars hanging out here.
Yeah, we got Ryan Hefner, Chris Cottom, Zach Gilbert, Jacob Corbin,
Hey, folks,
and
everyone here in the chat,
Emmett.
I want to hear what you're working on, like today or this week.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, how is it that you're always able to just interrupt whatever you're working on and just come hang in this live chat?
What are you working on? What are you procrastinating on?
Yeah. Or, yeah, better question is, what should you be working on right now?
This is work, man. This is professional development.
Exactly. It's a write off. They just write it off.
It's a time write off. I like that idea. It's a write off. Time zones. Oh, yeah. I think Chris is, if I remember correctly, I think he's down under or something. Let's see
Oh,
here.
time zones are brutal.
Is he in
I've been
Australia,
there,
maybe?
especially with Clarity Flow.
Yeah, man.
Oh, baby time over in the Gilbert household.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta feed the baby. What else are you gonna do? Babies are boring.
It's survival. No big deal.
All right, we got the podcast segment timer going too. Brian is able to see this. We'll see if it works once I click start. But it generated this big long sharing URL, but that actually worked. Why don't we try to record the show and see what happens here?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna click start
Get,
show.
Font size, because I'm blind now, apparently.
Did that start for you? Do you see the green highlighted?
No, I don't think so. Do I have to refresh or something?
I shouldn't have to. I don't know. Well, I guess that
I see. Yeah, no, I see live view 0 of an hour. And intro says pending. Do you see a timer or something?
Well,
oh
we're
yeah,
going,
yours
yep.
is green. No, mine is not showing that.
Well, sometimes you testing and debugging live.
Yep.
Let's start the show.
Sure.
Welcome to the panel where two bootstrappers talk about building a better business and a better life. I'm Justin Jackson, co-founder of Transistor.fm.
I'm Brian Casel, creator at Builder Methods.
And welcome to the show. We've been chatting with our live chat crew here. Got a good group. Emmett, Chris, Zach, Ryan, a lot of regular Jacob, a lot of regular faces here. And we've got the segments app going, although Brian can't see it on his side again. I tried to make an update.
I'm still going to rely on you just giving me like the red light when
That's right.
Up.
That's right. But yeah, we thought we would chat about a few things today. You wanted to chat about Q4 goals. I can't believe it's Q4 already.
I know, right?
And what's your least favorite thing about your work today? I like that topic. Why AI will never replace artists. And if we got time, maybe a little chat about social media. And of course, whatever else comes up.
Yeah, and I know that, speaking of segments, you have been vibe coding up a storm over there with some Maybe vibe coding some tools as marketing.
Oh yeah, we could chat about that too. Now, should I add that as a segment? Now I don't even know if I can do that. If I pause, nope, I can't do that. We'll just add it somewhere in there. Yeah, you know what? V0. I don't know if V0 is the best place to be vibe coding. My biggest question is, I built this marketing tool for Transistor. Engineering is marketing, and if I
just for listeners who aren't aware of that, it's pretty cool. It is
cool. Okay, maybe I should.
What's your pitch for it?
Okay, here, let me show it to the folks on video, but I'll describe it audibly for the folks who are just listening to the audio version. Let's see. Let's bring this up here. So what kicked this off is...
Oh, is this this is actually your live, like you're promoting it now?
Yeah, I could show people what it looks like. That's fine.
Transistor, I can't see that URL.
Well, this is Build Your SaaS. So here's what kicked this off, is I was looking at the episodes for Build Your SaaS, and most of them looked like this, just inconsistent cover art. And I was like, man, I wish there was a way to just ingest the RSS feed and then grab the people associated with the episode, like the host and guest credits, and generate a bunch, and the episode title, and generate a bunch of cover art for the episodes, instead of having it kind of different styles and everything, that I've added over the years.
Yeah, and like so many podcasts just never even do episode images. They just have their show image on everything.
That's right. Yeah. So I popped open V0 by Vercel, started working away, and I built this podcast episode artwork generator, which basically allows you to paste in a feed as long as it's using this modern person tag, podcast person
I was going to ask you about that. So that's actually one of the features that I've always really loved about Transistor. I feel like maybe most of your competitors don't do this, but you guys have had it forever. This concept of people.
Yes.
Right. So you can have the host, you can have guests, and you can just put in it used to be like their Twitter bio or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so for every episode, like you could feature the co-host, you can feature your guests, and it lists their information, pulls in their bio.
That's right. Yeah.
You can have like returning guests, like friend of the show and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just love that whole concept as a UI and feature of Transistor. And then it's cool how you can leverage it in this sort of tool. I actually didn't know that the people information is actually published like in the RSS feed.
Yeah. So there's a few angles to this, right? It's like, how can we leverage some of the cool stuff happening in podcasting, some of this new innovation being built on top of RSS, and kind of demonstrate that. And yeah, one of the things is we have all this metadata in the RSS feed that we can pull out. So if you click parse feed in this generator, it will pull in all the episodes, and then you'll see each episode has a bunch of guests associated with it. So here's one I did with David Rosenthal of Acquired. Click generate artwork, and it generates this cover art.
I mean, you can go even further with this with AI too, right? Like you could just get the topic of the show and generate an image about that topic,
Yeah, we could generate images in the background. Right now I have it so you can upload a background image if you want. So for example, for the Acquired one, you might want a little background image of them live, just make it look a little bit different. You can change the color. So if I regenerate, it changes the background color, but these avatars and names of the hosts and guests are getting pulled in live. And you can also change the episode title.
All right, now tell me, from idea to shipped, how long, how hard was it?
I mean, the first version, it was like probably an hour, I'm guessing. Is there timestamps on my chats? Oh yeah, there is. Okay, so let's actually. So the idea I had at 3:02 p.m. That's when I started working on it. And I probably got a working version Well, I mean, I got a working version in 16 minutes. And then I kept iterating on it. You can see there's quite a bit of iteration here. And the latest version, well, was this morning, but 5:55 was when I kind of wrapped it up the night before. So, I worked on it a couple hours. You can keep.
That's still nothing. That's less than a day,
I know. And I'm even thinking like I could attach I could make this a custom domain or a subdomain on Transistor.
Well, I did want to ask you about hosting and stuff, but just looking at it, just again for people maybe listening and not viewing, the style and the UI looks like a typical AI generated vibe coded app, but it's still like clean and functional, and it does the thing. It's like one of these like one feature tools.
Yeah.
And it looks super easy to use. Like it is totally publishable, especially as like a marketing, like a tool as marketing type of thing,
And some of these things like the actual UI, I iterated on this a few times for generating the images. I mean, it's pretty clean. Like,
yeah, like it doesn't need to be complicated.
Yeah, it's just like nice and clean. I would totally ship this as a first version. And
so you did it in V0. Like what kind of app is this, like a React app?
Yeah, it's like React. I think there's quite a bit of React and TypeScript in here. It's all styled with Tailwind, which was nice actually, because if you have any sort of Tailwind language, you can say, hey, I think we should use, for the background image, I said, I think we should use whatever that BG dash blend, whatever. So, and it certainly helps. It helps to have it helps to have a product sense, and it helps to have done web development in the past. But yeah, man, this it's insane how fast I was able to generate it.
Yeah, when you say that like because I know that you do have web development and design and some Tailwind experience, so you do know the technical, and like how an app gets built and stuff. Obviously, you run a SaaS product company, and so like I do always sort of like wonder, because I'm completely blind to like what the experience is for a totally non-technical person trying to use a V0 or a Lovable or Replit, I guess my question in that chat that we're looking at, we're looking at your V0 chat here. I can't actually read it from here, but how much of this, you were able to accomplish this in an hour or two. How much of that was because you knew the right questions to ask, or you knew the right ways to course correct it, but whereas somebody with no technical background,
it'd probably take them longer. I also had a very kind of distinct sense of what I wanted. And so like my first prompt is it's like succinct, but also descriptive of what
multiple
I'm trying to
paragraphs,
get built here.
Right?
Yeah. And
see that actually, that's an interesting point, because it's something that I'm working out in Agent OS. It's worked out actually, which is and like I go through the same process when I work with a client on like building their MVP app. It's always interesting how like a client will ask for a feature or ask for a functionality, and they might describe it in 2 or 3 bullet points, but for me as a product designer developer, that generates like 10 questions about like, okay, you want the billing to work this way, but what about this case or that case, or what about this scenario, and how should we handle that, this and that, right?
Yeah.
It's like one of the interesting things with Agent OS, it generates specs for you based on the features that you want to build. But before it rushes into writing the spec, there's a whole process for like, you just type in your raw idea, sort of like what you did there.
Yeah.
And then it'll have the agent generate clarifying questions to dial in and get you closer to like a well thought out and hashed out and get just, it's almost like a prompt for, it has the AI agent starting to prompt you to get you thinking around all those edge cases and all those design patterns. So then then it builds up all those like design choices, decisions, and then you can go ahead and spec it out and build it out.
Yeah. I mean, what is definitely nice about this, it can be also frustrating at times, is how fast it went from my initial prompt to, I was like, okay, it got the initial gist pretty well, and then I could just keep refining it. There's definitely some loops I got into where I was like, I'm wasting my time here.
This
But
is another, I'm just so fascinated with using AI in general in like all of our daily creative work.
Yeah.
And from product work to writing stuff to scripting stuff to whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And I'm getting more and more accustomed to that idea of like, I can input my raw creative thought, what I want to create, and maybe even more just like, here's what I want to accomplish. Or here is the end result that I'm going for.
Yeah.
And the latest models are really good at connecting the dots and maybe drawing and maybe making a few assumptions that you did not specifically tell it, enough to take your raw idea and give you a pretty good first draft. It's not going to be ready to use,
Yeah.
but it's enough for you to jump straight into edit mode. Where it's like, okay, I gave you my raw thing. Now I got a draft that I'm 60% happy with. I can point to 3 or 4 points that are off. We just need to fix those and get to a version 2, and then a version 3. And now by version 4, like, this is a really good newsletter that I'm ready to send, or this is a really good script for a YouTube video, instead of that blank page, just writing line by line.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sold now for prototyping. This is incredible. I think it's sometimes even fun to spell it out the way, I mean, for product people, this is going to be, it is kind of a game changer, because if you can articulate the vision that you see in your head, which in this case, I'm like, I know we've got all this metadata for hosts and guests in the RSS feed. I know that their name is in there, their role as host or guest is there. I know I want to exclude like editor and everybody else. And I know we have their photo. This should all be possible. And to instantly kind of see something and be able to use it is such a massive advantage. Like in the old days, maybe I would have prototyped it with HTML and had people walk through it, or maybe built a really kind of sloppy functioning thing. But this just writes, like, this can write JavaScript so fast. Like,
yeah, see, this is where I'm still trying to figure out my very early design process when it comes to new products. Like, the way that I've always done it is like either custom design, or I usually just start in the browser with like instrumental components and stuff.
Yeah.
And the reason why I haven't really used, like, I've played with V0 and I've played with Replit a little bit, but I don't usually choose React as my stack, or Next.js, and most of these are built around that. I do use Tailwind for everything, but I also kind of started experimenting with like using V0 as just a design tool, like use it to design. And there's like 50 other competitors to V0 that are, that sort of blend what V0 is and what Figma is. Like it'll generate basically an app, but then you can design it like you're designing a Figma document, but essentially you're changing React components. And I played around with that, and I still just can't get into the design workflow. And that's where I get stuck. I still think we're a little bit behind, like, generating new, polished, professional design work.
Yeah.
Because V0 at the end of the day, just like all the others, they're not really design tools. They're just coding tools. So like they'll take your description for a design and code it, and that's how it designs.
Yeah.
Whereas like a professional designer in Figma will actually use their hands and draw lines and boxes and choose typography and things like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I could even try something live here that might be interesting. Let's say, like, we have a website called freepodcastwebsites.com, which is right here. So I wonder if I could ask it to, can you replicate the style
See, that is
of this
yeah, sorry,
page
go ahead.
here? Let's see what that does.
See, like replicating an existing design, it is getting a lot better at that. I don't know how V0 will do, but like in general, in Claude Code or Cursor, if I give it a screenshot or a mock-up of something, like it can follow that design pattern pretty closely.
Yeah.
Where I'm still like very slow is like that initial ideation process, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
Something like
V0,
totally new, you know?
V0 does have quite a bit of, I probably can't go in there now, can I? I mean, if you go through some of these projects, it's almost like browsing. Now it feels like you're almost browsing, designer news or not. How come I can't? CodePen. What was the designer site? I'm not
Like Dribble.
Dribble. Yeah, there's a bunch of kind of things here.
I've
It's
tried
not-
some of that too, and like I guess that's good for like getting broad strokes ideas, especially for like brand ideas and stuff. But then whenever I get into like really what I've thought about like building this as a potential product at some point down the line in the long list of shiny object products that I want to do. But like more like a wireframing tool, really. Basically do what like Balsamic does, but AI generate like take a text prompt or a voice prompt
Yeah.
and maybe already have a library of wireframed components that I often use, like a navigation menu or a modal box or this type of layout or whatever, this type of list, and just like use my go-to UI patterns and piece them together in a simple wireframe that I can screenshot and then feed to Claude Code or something like that and build from there, you know?
Yeah. I mean, here's what it did with that. You can see it kind of updated. It kind of replicated this
Got the
style.
colors. Yeah.
It got the colors. It didn't do bad. I mean, is that better than the old version? I guess so. It really depends on, how it hopefully didn't mess with the other styles where when you parse the feed. Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
Let me ask you, what is this for you? Is this you just playing around being curious? Or is this like, I think I can, this could be like a strategy that you might start
Yeah,
using
I think, I mean, Josh and I have already been using this for other things. Like we're about to launch this podcast score tool. And this started off as something that we prototyped in V0. And then we basically brought it into Statamic and built it as a kind of a add-on app inside of Statamic. And so, yeah, but in terms, and then we also have a monetization calculator. I think I showed that to you last time.
What is the score? Like, what's the score for?
The score gives you a score basically how are you using modern podcast features like people, like the guest credits. So if we put a like kind of a non-modern app in here, let's put Conan O'Brien needs a friend. Let's see if this works. It'll give you suggestions. So his gets a 4.4 out of 4. It says, hey, switch hosting provider to get all the modern feed features.
Yeah, come on, Conan, get on that.
So here's the strengths, here's the suggestions, and then it also actually go through and find all of the things items in your XML that are supported or not supported. So this one's missing the podcast transcript tag and feature. And then you can download your podcast score as well if you want.
That's cool. It sort of reminds me of like the Ahrefs, like page health score.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and there's some like podcast feed validators out there. This is kind of taking it to the next level. Like, let's actually give you a score on, like this. He's also missing chapters. He's missing pod roll, missing pod ping, which like dramatically increases the speed at which podcast apps pick up your show. So, yeah, I think like this one in particular, I'm even fine to like, I might publish it as a tool. And then if it gets a lot of usage, then we might bring it in to the Statamic site, or maybe we'll bring it in right away. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Good
that
stuff.
has been fun.
I like this trend of Justin getting his hands dirty, building
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, again, it's kind of as just someone who's always considered themselves to be a product person. In the old days, I was limited by what I could personally build, even as for the first prototype or MVP. And to now be able to envision it. And I've also said that I think ideas are more valuable than we think. And so this idea I had, even though it's small, being able to envision it, here's what I want. I'm a podcast creator myself. Here's how I'd like it to work. Eventually, what I'd like it to do is using the Transistor API, just automatically backfill all of my episode cover art. So I'll eventually modify this tool so it does that too.
Nice.
But to be able to iteratively build this thing, and then you also get a sense of the trade-offs. Like, there's other features I would add to this, but I'm picturing the interface and I'm picturing even the structure, and it's like, oh, to add that feature, I would have to add an additional kind of UI option on the front end to accomplish that. Would that ruin the tool? And, there's all these other thoughts you have. And it's just really shortened. It's given me a superpower. I can now like start building stuff.
And I really do think that this era of AI first product building, the product people win.
Yes. I think
like,
that's true.
Someone with your skills, even if you are less technical than you are, but you still have the product background that you have. So like product managers at companies or product focused founders.
Yeah.
This is your time to shine. Because you don't need to know all the stupid syntax in PHP or Python or Ruby or whatever, or JavaScript, whatever it might be. Like that stuff is handled now,
Yes. And the other thing I'm thinking about is really the important piece of building a product is often just getting something out there that interacts with real people. So, for example, I've been thinking about building this sponsorship tool. And the best way for me to actually know if that's has any legs is to build a minimal version of it and start using it myself and see if anybody else wants it.
Yep.
And the shorter you can make that on-ramp, like how can I get this in front of people as fast as possible and see if there's any sort of customer pull. Like when people see it, are they like, oh, that's cool for you? Or do they say, how the hell do I get that?
Yeah,
like,
I want that. Yeah,
I want that right now. And that, I think, is that is going to be very valuable. And I think it's going to separate good product people who have a clear, keen understanding of customer demand and have an instinct about what customers want. It's going to allow folks to test that stuff out faster. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
This might this might kick off a little rant. Because I see a lot of like, I don't know, like negativity or negative mindset out there, and it comes in a lot of flavors around how fast what it means to build is changing.
Yeah.
Right. So we see it. I see it a lot from career developers, programmers, especially who are more programmer focused people who it's like their craft, their art form is writing code, especially more back end focused, less end product, less design focused. AI is shaking everything up, and there's this threat that their livelihood or their craft is becoming less valuable than it used to be. Like that's a reality, but then at the same time we see career developers, programmer focused, who are extremely excited about the possibilities of leveraging AI and building it not only in a new speed, but actually like raising their craft to levels that they couldn't before. Right? There's a positive and negative way to look at the same coin. Just like most things. But the other thing that really sort of triggered me this week. This is our weekly. What triggered you? What triggered Brian?
Let's hear it. This is a recurring segment.
So I listen to it less and less these days. But the New York Times, the Daily podcast. I don't know if you ever listen in on that.
I've listened a few times.
I used to listen all the time, like a couple of years ago, and it's just been fewer and far between. And I don't know, a year or two ago, I canceled my subscription to the Times. I just have been very turned off by the just overly left-leaning bias. I used to trust that institution as like as sort of like one of the most trustworthy historic journalists, and it's just become way too biased for my taste. And anyway, so but the podcast, the daily podcast, used to be a little bit separate from all that. So I would stop reading the Times, but I would still listen in to the podcast, especially on topics that interest me. Right.
Yeah.
This week, like 2 days ago, it was like Tuesday or Wednesday this week, they published an episode on recent college grads who were convinced that they should get a computer science degree, and they're left without any job prospects in the tech industry.
Yeah.
Right. And I understand, like, obviously that's a thing that's happening now in 2025. There are a lot of young recent college grads who are lacking career experience, and they have degrees in computer science. And I'm sure they're having a very hard time landing junior engineering roles at companies. And now that whole area of the industry, the recruiting and hiring, especially at the junior level, is not something that I'm very familiar with. I'm not in that part of the industry really. And there's no doubt that slowdown in hiring, especially at the junior level, is definitely happening. But the way that this podcast was framing it, and frankly with a ton of bias, they were going back 10 years. Like, they were literally citing stories and trends from like 2012, 2013, where the software and the tech industry was convincing all of these young people going through college that if you want to have the most valuable skill set in today's economy, get a computer science degree, get an engineering degree, and get hired as an engineer, and you can be making six figures very early in your career.
Yeah.
And they framed it as like the tech industry duped at all these kids, and now they're left in 2025, now that AI is here, with no job prospects, and everyone was tricked, and the tech industry is evil, and all these venture back and like billionaire tech founders, they like to frame it in these terms that like they had some like evil plan back in 2012 or 2013 that convinced an entire generation to get the wrong degree, and now they're left like not knowing what to do. And I was like screaming at at the radio while I was listening to this, because I'm like, yeah, I get that it's tough out there for a junior engineer, but you can't tell me that like it's not like software turned out to be a fad that went away. The whole world is still powered by software, and it only continues to, software in general continues to grow. So there's always going to be a continuous need for development of software. And yes, AI is more involved in that process than ever, but it still involves people, professionals in this industry, especially product people, you know?
Yeah. I think there is, it's multifaceted, all of that though, because in a sense, I think the big tech companies and a lot of venture capitalists have operated in a way that is not great. Meaning,
yeah, I mean, you can point to a lot of things, but like, but you can't say that like there was no scheme to get people to like get degrees in engineering and leave them without prospects.
Maybe
like,
not overtly, but there were a lot of like the big tech companies like Microsoft and Amazon and Google were signaling to young people like, hey, we want the brightest and smartest, and we want you guys to go get degrees, and we hire these kind of skill sets at this amount of money, and we're going to show you our cool campus that you can go to. So they were certainly doing all sorts of promotion and marketing on the recruitment side.
Yeah, but like, even if Google might not end up hiring you the way that they would have hired you 5 or 6, 7 years ago, you as a young college grad gaining technical skills in building software is still valuable, even if you won't get that job at Google, because, you know, like,
yeah.
I still think that you are at an advantage, and I would say even a superpower in today's economy, even with AI, to go into any small business, any small company, medium-sized company or large company, and bring technical skills. And yes, of course, you need to adapt quickly into today's world with AI, but like, I really think that the people who are most equipped to adapt into this world are the people who come into it with some technical background.
I agree with that side. And I also think the big tech companies are letting society down in a way, because they could be hiring way more people. And really, the tech economy especially works best when the big companies are hiring junior developers. So if you go back to think of anyone that's big now, Taylor Otwell. His first job is he gets hired out of college. He had his like electrical engineering or something. Gets hired out of college to be a junior .NET developer for a big trucking company. If that big trucking company doesn't hire Taylor as a junior developer, it's very possible we don't end up with Laravel and everything that's come. His career got started there, and every kid does need that first job and that first chance to do that. And I don't like the fact that tech companies are saying we're gonna use all this AI, not hire junior devs, and we're just gonna give all that money to the rich shareholders. I think there's a part of the social contract where big corporations used to put tons of money into research and development, hiring junior talent, all these things that benefited society, and they've abdicated a lot of that responsibility. And I do think that's shitty.
I think that I think it's one of these things that like there's a lot of like conflicting realities at play here.
Yeah.
Like I definitely agree with you that it is sort of like a shitty predicament that like today's junior technical people are not going to have the same company experience that someone like Taylor might have had. But I also think that like 10 years ago, when the Taylors of the world were working in those positions, like they were actually needed in those companies. Like those companies had a need for for a large headcount, and sort of like a happy accident of that is that a lot of these engineers gained the experience and had the wherewithal and initiative to go start the Laravels of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think today's economy and today's operational needs of these big companies like the other conflicting reality that I think about now, and I thought about even then, is like how, because I'm not even connected to these like large organizations. I've never worked in one with hundreds of engineers.
Mm-hmm.
So it always baffled my mind, like what do they literally do with all these people?
Mm-hmm.
Like even 10 years ago, before AI, like I I know how software gets built, and I could theoretically wrap my head around how a 50-person software company works. Like I
Mm-hmm.
could see what all those job titles could be, what the org chart could be. But then when I think about something like Stripe, and they've got like 3,000 engineers working on Stripe,
Mm-hmm.
I could probably name jobs for like 100 of them. But what about the other, 2,900? Like what are they literally working on? And
Yeah.
like and so like I sort of, it did seem natural to me in the last 4 or 5 years, even before AI came into its full swing, when these big tech companies just stopped the crazy hiring, because that just seemed like, yeah, it's kind of shitty for a lot of people in the economy, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, maybe this bubble needed to burst at some point. I don't know.
Maybe, but I think one thing we talked about before is that what's going to happen is that the there's going to be a big need in the future, we think, for experienced engineers. We've kind of all been talking
Yeah.
around that point. And if there's no pipeline for creating experienced, you need junior engineers that get started and kind of grow up and get experience and then eventually become senior, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And the
I think that's true. Like that problem like needs to be solved. I wonder how it gets solved in the 2025 to 2035 era, right?
yeah, and there's just also, I think, like the R&D and kind of benefit that corporations used to give back to society was much higher 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. And now a lot of that has been replaced by, we're just trying to increase shareholder value. And so the benefits of a company doing well, like in a factory town, if the company did well, the union would get people to get higher wages. The company would invest in the community. They would build a museum or a library. They would contribute to local events. And that's just happening less and less and less. Less of the kind of the fruits of what companies do these days are going to people in society. And I do think that's a huge problem. And one of the things that mega corporations used to do is they just required so many people, at least they were providing employment for people. It gave people a chance to get a foothold in the economy and get started and gain experience. And you get so much from that, right? You get, even if you're a junior developer working for Microsoft and all you're doing is writing tests, you're learning to work with a team. You're learning how to get instructions and process those instructions. You're asking questions to the senior developers. You're getting mentored. And if we eliminate that as a society, then there's everybody in 10, 20 years is going to be looking for senior engineers. And to hire one, you're going to have to pay $1 billion a year or whatever.
I think this is probably one of those areas where it's like, I'm like socially very, very left leaning, and then like economically sort of like middle of the road, maybe a little bit more right, like conservative leaning, and and like, yeah, I just don't really know what the answer is to that. We're certainly not going to figure it out here on this podcast, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, I just think that we are just entering like very broadly speaking, we're at the very, very tip of the beginning of a major change. Like, yes, it's driven by AI, but I think the entire economy is going to be changing. And I think that the tech industry is the tip of that spear, right? Like we're already
Yeah.
seeing it. And then I'm seeing it like literally here at my desk. Like the way that I make software is completely different from 12 months ago, but then that, scales out to larger companies in the tech industry. And then but it hasn't yet reached the rest of the world, right?
Yeah.
Like my non-tech friends and family, they hear about ChatGPT, maybe they dabble with it a little bit at work here and there, maybe they play around with it, maybe
Yeah.
they don't have to, it's not essential for them. I think it still remains to be seen how far and how quickly it'll infiltrate the rest of society.
Yeah.
I tend to be one of these people that thinks it is going to. I don't know the timeline or what that's going to look like, but I can see it here in our world already. We're already talking about it, you know?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, and we should probably get on to other topics, but this was a good meaty topic. We might have to revisit it.
Sorry, I didn't know.
No,
I didn't mean to throw off our segments here.
No, I think it's good. That's the whole point of the show. And people in the chat, I think, got fired up about this one too. It is worth talking about because it's going to hit everything. And I do think that AI is such a crazy change and is going to dramatically affect the whole world that we are going to have to figure out how, like, countries are going to be thinking all sorts of things. Like, do we have to tax AI in order to somehow support the society that gets disrupted by this wave? There's some big questions here. And there will be kind of the tip of the spear or the tip of the iceberg. There's going to be highly actualized, creative people that are well built for this moment. I think people that are naturally entrepreneurial, that are naturally founders, that are naturally builders, that have developed a keen sense of what people want and can move on that really fast. But, you know, once I started writing about entrepreneurship and getting, you know, having people on my newsletter and everything, over decades now of writing about it and podcasting about it, I just realized very few people are actually cut out to be entrepreneurs. It's
probably right.
A small percentage. And I do think it's shitty to think, man, like, yeah, I think people who are highly actualized, and even those of us that are highly actualized as entrepreneurs, even for us, the success rate is not 100%. No. And so what's the solution going to be for a whole society?
I do think that, like, getting back to like the using AI in the day-to-day creativity, I'm just observing the way that I work today on like literally every task.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm using AI in like just about every single task that I do in the day, and not just coding. Like, a lot of it is writing, a lot of it is creating, a lot of it is just thinking, just planning, you know? And so I think about like it still does amaze me that other industries and other professionals in all different industries, and you don't have to be entrepreneurial to get, like, I feel like I'm doing literally some of the best work of my career. I guess you could make the argument that we always feel that way, like we're always getting better.
Yeah.
But I do think that there is it feels something like a 10x of like improving at my craft. And that's a bunch of crafts. That's my product design and coding skills is 10x from using AI. It's my writing.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm doing some of the best that I've ever done. Yes, obviously Claude is like literally writing a lot of the actual words that end up in my newsletter or whatever, but the idea is mine, and the argument that I'm making is mine. And I went through 10 iterations of the draft. That is me and my creativity. But the only way that I was able to hit publish on that version of it in such a concise way, in a direct way, you know, compared to what, like, you know, people talk about slop and AI slop. Like, honestly, if I look back at most of my blog posts and newsletters from the last 10, 20 years, like, to me, that is slop. You know, to me, like, that is like rambling and way too many words and not being concise and not communicating my core idea elegantly.
Yeah.
But when I'm using Claude Code, like, I can get right to it, you know? And then I think about, like, I don't know, like the teachers in my kids' schools,
Mm-hmm.
or or I don't know, accountants, or people who are just operating jobs, like in their role, most people just aren't touching it, and so they're not unlocking these benefits, and you can't unlock it overnight. Like it took me 2 years of just it started just tinkering and playing with AI, and then I just used
Mm-hmm.
it a little bit more and a little bit more, and now I feel like I can't work without it, and it's just interesting to me like how that trend is going to spread to the broader economy, workforce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think I agree with, I think it still has a long way to go. I think there's still, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out with regular jobs and education. I also think there's lots of opportunity for people who want to work. Like eventually anything that I build with V0 or any of these other apps, I'm going to want, if it's working, I'm going to want someone to come along and rebuild it. So what I build in 1 or 2 or 3 hours, that's such a small investment. And to have someone come along and look at all the TypeScript that got written and look at all the pages and everything, and I could say, I want you to rebuild this the right way in Laravel or Rails. There's going to be work for those people,
Yeah,
and it
for
might
sure.
take time for the pendulum to swing back. There might not be as many of those jobs. Like there's all
Right.
sorts of ways this could play out, but I do think there will be work for folks
Yeah,
that
and I think
want
that's
to
why
do
we.
that.
Yeah, sorry. I do think that that's why you do see that like the more secure jobs in the software industry are the more senior, because you do need senior engineers to get a real SaaS product shipped to production with real customers. Like that's where V0 you can't just get away with shipping that with a real SaaS company.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
Um,
that's good. Let's keep moving here.
yeah. The other thing, I don't know if we want to get into it now, but we can jump around. But the thought on like artists and AI.
Yeah, what was your thing about that? Like, what
Well,
was your thoughts around that? You had that
Aaron
on our
tweeted
list
that.
here.
Aaron Francis tweeted this, and this is a thought that I've had for quite a while as well. It totally resonated with me. Let me see if I can find his tweet. I should have prepared this.
Aaron D. Francis. Aaron D. Francis.
Yeah, here, September 29th. He wrote on a totally subconscious level, I have no desire to read content, watch videos, or listen to music purely generated by AI. Just skip right over it. I think the future is still bright for people who put themselves into the work. Okay, so maybe that was speaking a little bit more to what I was just talking about, where like when it comes to creative work, like in the workforce, like I do leverage AI. It doesn't generate the initial ideas, but it helps me develop ideas and ship them, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but what hit me about that was more about artists.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm also tuned into, like, in my free time, like my hobby is music, writing
Yeah.
music, recording, producing music. So on my personal YouTube feed, I get a lot of like home recording and songwriting and music producer type content. Like I like to tune into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so in that world, like in the music industry, like I'm also tuned in to a lot of these like influencers in that world, and a lot of them are hemming and hawing about how there are now like AI generated musical artists, right?
Yep.
And it's going to come
And
for all the and there's that like Hollywood actress.
well,
that's
and
like,
the AI podcast slop is where is it? This CEO from this company they're pumping out thousands of AI slop podcasts,
oh, I didn't see that.
and she says her critics are Luddites. I think they're doing 3,000 episodes a day or something like that.
It's crazy. And then I also read about this. There's some, I don't know, like some like Hollywood studio that's like generating like an AI actress that has the whole personality and like going on shows and all this different stuff.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
And then like there are like these like I think there's like an AI like K-pop like pop group that kids are really into.
Yeah. So, but what's your angle here? You think AI
Well,
will replace artists or will not?
I think that I think it will not, because I do think that like there will of course always be these like AI generated pop stars and actresses.
Hmm.
Like that's going to continue to go on, and it's going to continue to be bigger and broader, and it's going to happen everywhere, of course.
Yeah.
But I think there's always going to be a hunger for consumers to hear real art or see and consume real art from real
Hmm.
artists. And I always and more importantly, I think there's always going to be the human need of artists to create from their soul. Like
Yeah.
like 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 I'm no uh professional artist or anything, but I do like to play and I like to write music.
Yeah.
I have absolutely zero interest in using AI to generate art. Like that comes from me, and like that it's like a human need, right?
Hmm.
Somebody who's a painter, or somebody who's an actor or actress, like that's an art form, you know.
Yeah.
And like great screenwriting, great great authors. Like yes, of course, AI can write a book, can write a screenplay.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll become hard to distinguish over time, but I think there's always going to be, especially a hunger for like content in a certain content from a certain style. Like if you're a fan of Quentin Tarantino, like
Hmm.
you want Quentin's next movie. You don't want something modeled after his style, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
exactly. I mean, I feel this most acutely in the podcast industry. And everybody's so worried about this Inception AI company. And they're like, it's going to, they're going to make it so much harder for the podcast industry and for new creators. And I'm like, there's no way we're going to be talking about this company in 12 months. This is
right.
a short term arbitrage play. This happened before. As you mentioned, there's been slop content before AI. And this is that classic, like Jason Calacanis, his Mahalo, remember Mahalo? That was an arbitrage play about producing tons of content at scale and then running AdWords on it
Hmm.
to try to make money. And then eventually Google said, no, first of
Yeah.
all, it's slop. No one really wants this content. And second of all, you're just trying to get impressions so you get these tiny fractions of ad dollars, and yeah, sure, it'll work for 6 months, but then we're shutting it down.
Yep.
It's going to be the same for AI slop houses. AI slop houses producing YouTube content, trying to get those monetized videos and stuff. Eventually people are just going to be like, first of all, no, like we don't want this. Anything that even feels like AI, they're going to push it aside. I think creators are going to have to work harder to make themselves not look like AI. That's
Exactly.
Be,
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that. I think it's going to be one of these forces that pushes creative people and artists to cut through that noise. Like it's always been difficult to make a living as a professional artist, of course, but just from the art form standpoint, like art is always going to happen, like no matter what
yeah,
it might become a lot more difficult to make a living at it, but like I still think that people are going to create it, and people are going to want to consume human made art, even if like on the surface it's indistinguishable. Like I was listening to a couple of months ago, I was listening to Bill Simmons talk to what's his name, the author, that guy.
you want me to start guessing? Malcolm Gladwell, Seth Godin,
No, no,
James Clear.
no. But like those are regulars on his show, right? The other guy, oh man, Klosterman, Chuck Klosterman.
Oh, okay.
So they had like a whole episode about AI. This is maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and they were kicking around and talking about like the future, like what we're talking about here, like how AI is going to change the world. It was a really good episode. I love when Bill Simmons does these like random non-sports topics.
Yeah.
And so they got into this interesting question, talking about like Nirvana, right? Like, and I guess they heard somewhere that like it is technically possible now to produce Nirvana's next album. Just train the AI on everything Nirvana has ever created, and
Yeah.
then generate what would most likely be their next album.
Yeah.
Had Kurt not died, right?
Yeah.
And the interesting, and so and so it's like they presented the thought experiment, right? Of like if you were just to play the actual like Nevermind record to two individuals,
Yeah.
and individual A knows Nirvana, they know Kurt Cobain, they know the history, they know the story,
Yeah.
they know what happened with him and the band and everything. Person B has no knowledge of that. Maybe they're younger, they didn't live through it, they don't know that he committed suicide, they don't know all that backstory to it. They just hear the song Lithium, right?
Yeah.
Those two people might hear the same song, but the person who knows the story and the humans behind it is going to hear the music and the story so much differently
Yeah.
than the other person is going to hear it, right? The other person is just going to hear like a hard rock grunge song from the 90s. But,
Yeah.
but the first person is going to be like, they know like the struggle that this person went through to generate that music, you know?
Dude, this is bringing up that other thing I didn't think we'd get to, but just this idea of exhaustion. And this article in particular that I highly recommend everyone go read, The Last Days of Social Media. But this social media promised connection, but it has delivered exhaustion. To me, this relates to music. It relates to film. It relates to all types of content. I think people are exhausted from all the options. And every day I'm on Instagram, I see all sorts of quote unquote cool bands playing quote unquote cool songs that I like, but there's so much of it now, it's overwhelming. It's like you don't get any connection, like you're saying. Like, I've got nothing to hook into. I've got nothing to kind of that sticks with me. It's just like I saw a video, it was well produced, it grabbed my attention for 1 second or 3 seconds or 5 seconds. And maybe I even went and added the song on Apple Music. But when I revisit it, I'm just like, okay, like a faceless band from a faceless stream, and that exhaustion from options. It's like this is the other funny thing that's about with all this AI generated stuff is like, there's already enough human content. It's already overwhelming. Already, right. I can't form a meaningful connection with it. And now you're just going to add more content that I have even less connection with. Like, we don't need this as a society. We don't need more AI bots tweeting. Like, we don't need that, but that's what's happening. We don't need more AI bots producing songs, but that's what's happening. We don't need more AI producing videos. There's enough shitty videos already. And I think this exhaustion people are feeling now from everything. They're exhausted about the news. They're exhausted about everything. It's just all too much. And
I think it's definitely true. Like I think about like what is going to replace, or what needs to replace that now. Like I completely align with what you're saying, because I feel like I'm bored with most of the things when I'm scrolling through feeds. And for me, like feeds generally include like my personal YouTube feed of watching videos. There's the Twitter feed, Twitter/Blue Sky, and then there's like a news feed, right? I usually just use like Apple News as my curator, which has been broken lately. I don't know why. And like all of it has been more boring than ever. Like I find myself like scrolling for 2 seconds. Like there's nothing here for me. I used to be addicted. I used to sit on Twitter for like an hour and scroll because there's so much content that I actually want to read.
Yes.
And now it's like, all right, I could pass by like 5 tweets and be like, I'm either angry and I don't like that, or like more likely it's like more of the same. I'm bored.
Yep. I mean, that's what this article hits so freaking hard.
Yeah.
Here's a quote. The social internet was built on attention, not only the promise to capture yours, but the chance for you to capture a slice of everyone else's. But after 2 decades, the mechanism has inverted, replacing connection with exhaustion. and yet time spent on platforms remains high. People scroll not because they enjoy it, but because they don't know how to stop. So, like, this is. He continues. These are the last days of social media, not because we lack content, but because the attention economy has neared its outer limit. We have exhausted the capacity to care.
I do think that there's some sort of like opportunity in here. I don't know what it is, but I think that there's maybe people more around like our age and then, like not like the younger crowd.
It's the kids, dude. It's the kids. Why are my kids and my nieces, all the kids I know that are 9 to 25 are obsessed with the 90s. My son's favorite band is Sublime. Like, these
That's
are
awesome.
old bands. They like Creed. Creed is a big band right now, which is insane. Nirvana, Pearl Jam. Bush just did a giant tour, and there was just as many Gen Z kids there as Gen X.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Oasis is like the biggest band in the world.
Oasis. What's going on here? What's going on is kids are tired too, and they've opted out even earlier than I think millennials and Gen X.
That's really interesting because your kids are older, so you're more tapped into that than mine.
Yeah, I think the pendulum is going to swing back. Now, whether a majority of society just stays in this addictive prison, I don't know.
Well,
But I do think there will be more people seeking out. Like, if I was an artist, for example, I would be being the anti, like, I'm not going to post shit on Instagram. I'm going to figure out other ways of connecting with people because I don't want to be a part of that exhaustion machine.
I listen, like, Ben Thompson has talked about this for a while. I'm a big fan of like Ben Thompson's stratechery and also especially dithering that he does with John Gruber. I've been paying for that podcast for years and I love it. I don't miss an episode. And just talking about like the role of these tech products in general. And you know, where I think that there's some sort of opportunity, I don't know what it is exactly, is how do you bring quality back to short form content consumption? And like what I mean is like we loved Twitter from the early days. And it wasn't a mass market. Like, yeah, it got big, of course, but not like it didn't take over the way that Instagram did and Facebook and YouTube and TikTok did, because those became much more visual, and like that's what made everyone so addicted, was like the visual like stimulation, the photos and everything.
Yeah.
But for some subset of the world, especially in the tech industry and also like the news industry, right? Short form text content in the form of like tweets was what we wanted.
That's right. Because it was because we were nerds, though.
Yeah.
Here's what I
But I mean, like, where do we get that now, right? So like the rest of my family are like voracious readers of novels. They're just constantly reading. There's books everywhere in my house, you know?
Yeah.
And they can like sit for an hour or two at any hour of the day, morning, noon, and night, and just read. And I'm so accustomed to, you know, short form content bursts, right? Like and like also I have these like short periods of time. I'm doing the dishes. I'm eating lunch. I'm out on a 20-minute walk, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might listen to a book on some of those, but like a lot of times I'm, you know, I just want to scroll and read some like interesting quality, substantive content that is bite-sized, like tweets, like quality tweets.
I don't know
right?
if we're gonna get back there.
Yeah, like right now, maybe I'm getting some of it in maybe a couple of, you know, private communities that I'm in. You know, I like to check those in place of checking Twitter, because it's like people that I know and it's short bursts of conversation.
Yeah.
But I don't know, there's something there, right? Like I think that like, I don't know.
I wonder if that moment that we had on Twitter will ever be replicated again. The way I think about it is nerds are a special group of people. And you can tell we're a special group of people. Go to any nerd meetup, go to any nerd event. We are actually very social. We love to talk about the shit we're interested in. And so just imagine this Geek Beers meetup I run every month. So there's a group of 20 people. We're all talking, we're all chatting. Then imagine if any asshole in the world could just come and start yelling at us or interjecting in our conversation right. or throwing shit at us or just making a bunch of noise or starting a bunch of fights. Like, nobody at the meetup would enjoy that. They would be like, okay, we're getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That's essentially what that happened with Twitter. Early Twitter was just nerds. We were just having our own little nerd meetup inside this place. It felt so magical because it was like when you were scrolling your feed, it was all like your internet friends or at least people that you would want to be your friends. And then we invited the rest of the world to the party, and there's just a lot of shitty people in the world.
Yeah.
And now it's like you can't have that space unless you do it in a private Slack or private Discord or something like that. And even recent efforts to replicate it, like Mastodon or Blue Sky or whatever, it's just very difficult to recreate that magic because early Twitter, if you were a nerd and you showed up, you were like, you signed up and you're like, whoa, these are all my people. Like, this has attracted all of my people from around the world. We're all here talking about this shit. And now I don't know if there's ever going to be another moment like that again.
No, and I'm bummed with where we've ended up with Blue Sky today. Mm-hmm. I was hopeful when it first launched because I thought that we were going to see a massive migration of our people, our industry, all just converge on Blue Sky and be like, this is where we're hanging out now. And
it felt like that early on, but then
for a minute, but it didn't get everyone. And then of course, freaking politics has to like override everything.
Yeah.
And now it's like, it's so stupid to me, but like that, like Twitter is associated as like the right leaning place and Blue Sky is considered the left leaning place. And people like me who go to these networks to just get away from that crap, you know, and like, but now it's like, so I'm one of these people who just remained on both networks because a lot of my people are on Blue Sky only and a lot of my people are on Twitter only, and I still am fine with my feeds on both, but I hate that I have to use both. I just want to use one. You know, but like
it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
And also like the fact that like Blue Sky is in my view sort of like failing at this point because like every time I look at it, it's quieter and quieter, and it does seem just overrun with like unbearable left-leaning people with nonsense that I just can't get on board with, you know.
Although my Blue Sky feed right now has some really cool Anzi art. Can you see this?
Like these are my favorite types of accounts, you know, like the random like art account. Like, so there's my favorite account. This is on both Twitter and Blue Sky is Retro Tech Dreams. Do you follow that?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. I am following them. Oh, I love this game. 3D pinball for Windows.
Oh, hell yeah. All right. You're literally playing it on the,
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Even here's the thing. Even Aaron Francis wants to sign off. Like the people that used to kind of be known for social media or loves, you know, being on Twitter, everybody's feeling this exhaustion. And even the old dream that we're still holding on to was like, these places also give us distribution for our projects.
I'm way
ideas.
over that. Like, that's not happening anymore. YouTube, yes, but not Twitter. No.
It's like everybody's just hunting for a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of somebody's attention. And I mean, this is crazy to me that we have this live chat here. We've got, 20 people, 17 people watching live. They're chatting, they're following along. The fact that they are here paying attention is crazy already. And there's just less and less of this. There's just
Yeah.
less and less cases where you can get anybody's attention. And I
Anyway,
yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
for sure.
Let's
what else we
do
got
one more
on the board
topic.
here?
I think one more to end things off.
Sure.
Okay. What do you
All
want
right.
to do? What's
We're
your
in-
least favorite thing or Q4 goals?
Yeah, that's sort of the same thing, really.
Okay.
Okay, so we're here it is October 2nd. So I guess this officially, begins Q4.
When you
right?
told me it was Q4, I was like, what?
I was like, what?
And then I couldn't believe it. Q4. So end of the year.
Yeah,
I can't
I'm curious
believe
to
it.
know how you think about this, or maybe just the month of October. Yeah, so like we can maybe blend this into the same conversation, right? Like the idea of like what in our business, like let's just like come back to what are we actually working on in our business, and what are our personal or business priorities between now and as we lead up to the end of the year. Are there any like unfinished business or unmet goals that we're in the fourth quarter here, so can we nail them by the end of the year? Are we thinking about that at all?
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I want to try to take some sort of vacation or break before the end of the year. 2 to 4 weeks. Probably in November, but we'll see. I have
Personal,
a lot
like
of,
solo or family, or
I mean, it would probably have to be a combination. The two at home are in high school, so it's not easy to like take off. And honestly, it's harder to get them to come on trips as well. But I have a lot of anxiety around that, actually. Like
are they at an
anxiety.
age in high school? I'm curious, like, could like you could leave them home?
Oh yeah.
Overnight.
We were just at a family reunion for 4 days, and we left them at home. Yeah, they've got their driver's license. They can drive and get themselves. It's like the house is super clean when we get back, but
Yeah.
we can. Oh, that was one funny thing is I got a notification from my HomePod that an alarm had sounded, and so I called them right away, and I could hear the smoke alarm was going off. So the HomePod detected that there was a smoke alarm. I don't know if you've ever had that, but just in.
I don't have HomePod, no.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So, so we could leave them.
It's funny, and this might be one of those like generational things, right? Like when I was a kid, if I was left home alone overnight in high school, there would be parties happening.
Yeah, I mean,
and like this generation, like, do they even party anymore?
I mean, they party a bit, but they're the most surveilled generation. Like we have security cameras around our house, and we can see where they are when they're walking around town and stuff like that. So there's good and bad about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to take some time off, and we want to finish this Spotify feature for private podcasts. I think to ship that before the end of the year is important to us. And I think also just like kind of set ourselves up with maybe a regular product meeting every week or every 2 weeks, where we start to kind of shape things up for a big feature in 2026, which I think will probably still be video, even though there's lots of complicating factors around it. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. What about you?
I like it. Yeah, let's see. So Builder Methods is like off the ground now with revenue. It has MRR. It continues to grow. I'm continuing to get daily signups, new customers for this Builder Methods Pro, which is pretty exciting. Here in October, like I think by tomorrow or Monday, I'm going to actually ship Agent OS 2.0. It's at the finish line. Like literally today, I'm just writing documentation and trying to button it up and get it into a launchable state. But the product itself is basically done finally.
Nice.
It took more weeks than I hoped it would. It was one of those things where it just got, I ripped it apart and rebuilt it like 3 times over the past month. But it's in a good place now. I'm really happy with it.
How far out do you think that is? Like, what's left before you can launch it?
It's done. I'm like halfway through writing the docs right now. I need to like get those docs up on the site, and which means a little bit of like site redesign work. Not redesign, but like just, set up the docs pages a little bit differently from how they are now, because there's going to be more docs.
Right now they're just on the Builder Methods
Right
site?
now, they're going to continue to be at that location, but right now it's one page. It's buildermethods.com/agentos.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at
The
it
new
here. Yeah.
Once I launch 2.0, that's going to be the homepage for it. But that left navigation right now, those are just anchor links. Those are going to become like actual sub pages.
Nice.
So I need to sort of like build out that's famous last words. That shouldn't take long.
Are you already ranking for like how do I install Agent OS? Is that okay? Yeah, it looks. Is this? What is this? Agent OS NPM.
There's a lot of other like Agent OS things out there.
Yeah, I mean you're the number one organic result, but my guess is once you have separate pages for that, you'll start to rank better for this as well.
And I don't have a good domain. Like right now, it's just buildermethods.com/agentos, and I've looked at the available domains, and there's nothing really that's like I can't get like agentos.com or even like .dev or anything like that. So I don't know. I mean, I like it living on Builder Methods anyway.
Yeah, I think that's fine for now.
So anyway, like that is a big rock to push across the finish line, because it was a big project, but also like it's so core to my business at this point, this Agent OS product.
Yeah.
Because it literally forms the basis of like most of my content. Is like almost every video I do is educating about Agent OS, or it's related to how I do things in Agent OS,
Yeah. And a lot of the people who signed up for Builder Methods Pro as well, right?
A lot of them are coming in just to have that support. I'm getting like enterprise leads for big engagements who just want my Agent OS consulting. And so having that out in the world as a living, breathing product that I don't have to spend all these hours like building and shipping, and now I'm just maintaining and supporting it. That'll be really good. So I can sort of like move on with the other big priorities in the business, right? So anyway, like that, shipping that is like the first goal here in October. I'm planning on doing another workshop in October, probably like 3 weeks from now.
That will be interesting to see if you like, how hard is it? How hard is it to sell another 100 tickets?
Yeah. And that one, I think I'm going to try it being Agent OS focused. Like,
okay.
Like the title will be something like Spec-Driven Development with Agent OS.
Yeah.
And
that's a good one, dude. Like that's the kind of, I like that because I would encourage my team to go and check that out. For example, like I think you'll get a good funnel of people with that specific call to action.
So like, as I look through Q4, right? Like I need to throw up a workshop registration purchase page for that in the next couple of days so I can promote it for the next 3 weeks. But I'm going to do this October workshop. That'll be my second workshop that I've done. Then we're in November, and I don't know, I might do a workshop, but November is going to have a Black Friday. So I'll do some sort of deal on Builder Methods Pro then as well.
Yeah.
So like between now and the end of the year, I would like to have done at least 2 workshops plus Black Friday. There will probably be a third workshop in there somewhere between November and December. And so what that'll do is by the end of the year, it'll give me the data points of like how many workshops I've done, how many tickets I sold on each of those workshops, and how many of those people converted into members, and what's the overall membership growth. Because I'm also just getting organic daily growth of the membership right now. It'll be interesting to see how that grows. I did just hire a video editor. So he is finished. He just finished editing the first video, which is not live yet. It'll probably publish on Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm pretty happy with it. Like I went through like 2 or 3 rounds of revisions with him. Like as an early hire for video editing, it takes a little while to to lock in, but he's very good. He's in India, and I'm pretty happy with having found that person, because he's going to be my guy for all the video
That's a
editing
big
going
deal.
forward. Big deal. Yeah. So like that's going to be huge, because now I can just spend about a day writing and recording a video and then hand it off.
I mean, what's great
huge.
about the flywheel you're building is actually not super complex, which is nice. It's make YouTube videos. That's top of the funnel. There's some sort of call to action that's relatively low lift, like a workshop or something.
Get on the newsletter.
Get on the
workshop.
newsletter list, and then eventually get them to sign up for Builder Methods Pro, so that it's you still got to figure out as with any flywheel whether it's going to work, whether it keeps spitting out reliable income. But
like
I like
that's where the
simplicity of
data
it.
will be interesting, because right now it is working. Like right now I'm organically getting, every single day I get, I don't know, what is it? I haven't looked at it. Maybe 50 new email subscribers every day right now.
Oh, wow.
Just off of the YouTube channel.
50 a day.
Especially on the days that I publish, it probably decreases down to like 20, 25 on once I get further away from a published day.
Yeah.
But they're coming in every day, and my inbox is full with replies from people on the automated reply.
That's wild. If that's already giving you that many people with email addresses,
and like today, like 3 people signed up for Builder Methods Pro. I have no idea even where they came from. They could have just come from the Builder Methods GitHub or from the YouTube channel. I haven't even promoted it in the past week. Like they're just coming in.
That's awesome.
But it'll be interesting to see how that increases between now and the rest of the year with these additional workshops, with 2.0 being out there in the wild, with more videos, like more frequency of videos, right? So I just crossed 15K subscribers on the YouTube channel.
Nice.
And I think it's not. I think I should easily cross 20K by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And
your videos are still getting 15,000, 12,000, 17,000, 28,000. Like you're in a nice like double digit realm every video.
Yeah, it's pretty good. There are some folks in my space, like technically competitors, like covering the same content that I'm covering, who are doing double and triple the numbers that I'm doing on their videos. So like, it's like, I'm not like one of the top I think I'm doing fairly well. Like I'm thrilled with the numbers that I'm seeing. It's way more than I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I can still tell that there's like a lot of room to grow.
Yeah.
Because,
and you might be killing it. Like, who knows? You don't know their business. You might be getting more email subscribers than they are every day.
Yeah.
They might be getting more views, but the quality of your viewer is higher. So comparing sometimes is like, you know, I mean,
well, I just mean like from a
then
business growth like projection standpoint, like I think that like I'm onto some, there's definitely some like natural interest here. So anyway, my main goal between now and the end of the year is like, okay, well, this gets into the other topic really, which is fixing the thing that I feel is suboptimal in the day to day, right?
Okay,
like,
what's
because
that?
this is like a general mindset thing, where everything I ever work on business wise is solving a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like every day, every business I choose to build, everything I choose to work on, there's something that's broken or something that I don't like, and I need to correct that.
Yeah.
Like that's my operating principle essentially.
Okay.
And so for bigger picture, the last couple of years, my main frustration in work has been like, I don't have a business that's like steady and going. I'm flailing. I'm trying to choose which idea I'm going to do. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to sink into for the next couple of years. Right. Okay. So I feel like I finally found that with Builder Methods.
Yeah.
But I it financially, I can't sink into it 100%, right? Like I still have a consulting client, I still do Clarity Flow, and I still feel the pressure and the urgency to work every single day of the week and really push and really ship and not take breaks and work on an accelerated timeline so that I can get this revenue level up from, low four figures to five figures as quickly as possible, to get it to that steady cruising altitude of like, this is a solid business that it's enough to pay my bills as a bootstrapper in my lifestyle here, and it's a solid foundation to just build on, right? Like really what I'm saying is like, as soon as humanly possible, I want to get to the point where I'm so confident in the trajectory of Builder Methods and its ability to pay my bills in full that I can slow down.
Yes.
And I can even work 4 days a week. And yes, I'm gonna keep building and keep working on this for years, keep doing YouTube videos, keep doing Agent OS, but it doesn't have to be at the same level of urgency.
Yeah.
And everything that I do outside of Builder Methods can fall away.
Yeah.
And that can mean multiple things. I could just drop consulting. I could, I don't know, sell Clarity Flow or hire somebody to run it or whatever that might look like. But like you said, make videos, make software every day. That's really all I want to do. And so also I would like to get to a point where like, I don't have to work 5 days a week. I could just, take it easy.
What do you have? How many Builder Methods Pro memberships do you have so far? How many people joined so far?
Today, it's probably up to 75, 80.
Okay. Wow. That's even higher than last time.
Yep.
So
it's
you're at
growing
about
every day.
$15,000 ARR right now.
Let's check it. Let's see.
And
just so folks know, I'm not going to just report numbers on every episode.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it's early enough that I can,
It's early enough. And I think...
1,400 MRR, 75 active subscribers.
Okay. So, and really, I mean, what do you think your goal for number of annual memberships you'd like? Like, what would be an amazing milestone to hit before the end of the year?
It's hard to project. Like, it's hard to understand what is realistic because it's so new. Like, the very first dollar was September 15th. That's like 2 weeks ago. So like I can't like project, really. It's too early.
For this to have proven itself as a good business, how many memberships do you think you'll want? How many members?
I don't know how it translates to number of members, just in terms of like MRR. I think like a good first milestone is like cross 10K, 10 or 12K.
Yeah.
Because that's the number where I feel like secure in like,
so that would be,
I can really start to let other things fall away financially. It doesn't matter. But like, obviously like that, just to be clear, like that's not my goal for this business. Like, I want to grow it much larger than that. But that's the first, like, I think that within the next 3 to 6 months, like 10K could be realistic.
So
that might be a stretch, but it could be realistic.
Yeah. So that's 612 members and you already have 75. So you need 537 more members. I think you are really like, there is a lot of momentum here.
There's other revenue opportunities too, besides just the membership. There could be these engagements. There could be sponsorships for the YouTube channel. I haven't even opened those yet. So
yeah, I mean, what I like about focusing on memberships is all those other opportunities are still available to you if you keep publishing videos, keep getting more subscribers, keep growing your email list, and then keep getting people to sign up. If all of a sudden the top of this funnel is now doing, instead of like 15 to 25,000 views a video, you're now doing 50 to 100,000 views, or you're publishing more videos and you're just getting more viewers, which ends up with more, then you're going to get sponsorship requests and all that stuff. And my guess is it'll always be kind of a cherry on top.
I agree. I like the idea of like zeroing in on like number of subscribers and just Builder Methods Pro as the thing that I'm growing. Like, because the other thing stuff is cherry on top. Yeah.
I mean, and this is the opportunity, I think. I think one thing that I've always done, and I think you've done this as well, but sometimes you just have to be more explicit about it, is like when we launched Transistor and it was in early access, I emailed about 100 people personally and just said, hey, I'm building this thing. It's really important to me. I think we got something here that's incredible. I'm emailing my friends and my contacts to say, I'm trying to build this, and what would really help right now is for people to be signing up on our early access plan. And I'm wondering if you would be interested in doing that. And I'm wondering if you have friends that would be interested in doing that. And
that's interesting because it's like that's something I've been thinking about. Like, yeah, I talk a lot about it here on this podcast. There's obviously my email list, which I am actually sending now every Friday. I went a long period of time just not really sending very often.
Yeah.
I do wonder, I'm not really talking much about this, like gets back to like how much can we actually promote on Twitter and stuff. But like, I feel like most people that like might have known me for many years don't know that I'm actually this focused on Builder Methods now.
Yep.
Because obviously I've changed businesses so many times. I think a lot of people still think of me as like the Clarity Flow guy right now. There's probably people who still think of me as like the productized services guy.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
You know, but like, which is funny because I even sold that years ago, but I don't know. The like I don't even know how to go about like
I think
announcing to the world like I'm the Builder Methods guy now, just so you know.
I think you got to kind of write this explicit post. My post was why I'm switching to SaaS or something like that. And that was kind of me putting my stake in the ground and saying, I'm now doing this. So you may have known me as this person. I'm telling you, I'm now in on this. This is what I'm doing. And it had a specific request too, which was, I need people to come along for the journey. Like, I need people to be signing up for Transistor and trying it out. If you have an employer, I need you to be telling people about this. I'm going to need as much help from the people I know and the community I have to make this work. And
I guess that, that could be valuable, especially from that angle of like, if you or your team or someone you know, your employer have this need for, improving your team's workflows with AI, that's what I'm offering now.
Yeah,
because it is true. Like even friends that I've known for a while, like anytime like I still hear the pain point of like my team is not leveraging AI in the way that they should. Like that continues to come up from everyone I know. Like I guess what I'm saying is like I sort of question the value of making a big effort around like announcing. Like I've been thinking about like at some point on Twitter, maybe I'll do that stupid thing where it's like, hey, look, I have 100 subscribers and crossed this level of MRR. I've never been a fan of broadcasting MRR goals like that. But it might be a way, like I could see the point of doing that, especially early on when it's only like 2 or 3K MRR. That serves as a form of an announcement to say, like, yes, look at what I'm working on now.
Yeah, and I also think that reaching out personally to some of the pillars of the community is helpful because those people have enormous influence. So when I started Transistor, I emailed Rob Walling and I said, just to let you know, I'm now building this and this is my thing. I'm just letting people know because I know that you know people and I might need some of your advice. And I was just letting Brennan Dunn, Nathan Barry, Paul Jarvis, I just emailed all of the pillars of the community that I had built relationships with to say, I just want you to know this is what I'm doing. And those people have Heaton Shaw. Those people have big spheres of influence. They take,
That's a good point.
10 coffee meetings a week. They are talking to folks all the time. They have their own newsletters and podcasts. And
That is a good point. 'Cause
that is helpful.
I remember in 2015, the week that I launched Audience Ops, I did exactly that. That's where the first customers from Audience Ops came from. I emailed 20 friends, like you just described, influential people who I happened to be in contact with, to let them know about this little one-pager landing page I made for Audience Ops, get their feedback. And some of them became clients, some of them told clients, and then we became like the go-to shop for blog content for SaaS companies.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting.
And I think the other thing is this same pitch works really well for a Black Friday sale, which is to preamble it with, hey, as many of you know, I've been on this journey. I've tried different things. This is really working. Like, it's got traction. I'm excited about it. And my goal for this Black Friday is to get 100 more people to sign up. And you give all the same kind of benefits. Like, here's people that are already in that are, but you give them the opportunity to be a part of your journey. Like, I'm doing this, it's working. And what I really need now are for people that are kind of on the fence, or people that are like, oh yeah, that looks really helpful. I should get that sometime, to make a decision today to say, I'm going to help Brian out today. I'm going to do this thing I already know I should be doing. And I'm going to, jump on this train of other people that are doing it. The same kind of like, that same communication of like, this is what I'm doing, can be really helpful for people, and having them jump on the train with you.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting because I've never
memberships.
I've always had a hard time, like asking for help in general, but also just like self promoting, especially to friends. I just don't like doing that. But at the same time, like, I can think back to so many instances where friends, especially friends with influence, have been so incredibly generous and instrumental in my growth of my business, whether it's having me at their conference or telling people or talking about it or amplifying it. Like, it has absolutely helped. So, but I, like, at the same time, like, on the flip side, like, I think at the beginning of this, I was thinking like, well, what's even the point of that, when really I should be focused on the funnel, which is YouTube videos into the email list, into workshops. And like, one of the beautiful things that I'm super excited about is that I don't need to rely on my personal network and personal following, because I finally, I feel like for the first time in my career now, I have a actual funnel that I can drive. Like, I know how to get exposed to new people every single day through YouTube. I've never really had that. Like, all of my previous businesses have been what I always felt like as luck, but it's probably more like what you're talking about. Is like, people hear me on the podcast, they know me, they talk, they recommend it. But this is more like, I actually have a funnel where strangers are coming in and they're buying. From day one.
I think you got to do both. And I think you could write an email like this that I just wrote while you were talking, to all the teams, and I think it would be super helpful.
I don't see. Are you sharing? Or
I'm going to try to share it here. Can I share my notes? Or maybe I can. I can't. Can I share my entire screen? Hold on. Let me just see. Sorry. Let me just minimize things here. I'll make this bigger. But basically, hey, it's Brian. I know a lot of, and so this would be to a team that right? Matt Wensing at, he's got a job with a software company. All these, there's lots of people you could email. Hey, it's Brian. I know a lot of teams are struggling with what do we do with AI? Want to let you know I'm doing a workshop coming up in November. I think it will be really helpful for teams like yours. It's whatever amount, so it's really affordable. We only have 100 seats available, so I wanted to let you know. I think
That's awesome. All
For
right. So
you to
everyone
write,
that I know who's listening to this, you could expect that email like pretty soon.
I think you got to send it. I think you just got to
Yeah.
send it and say, and you could also in the PS go, PS, here's a brief video that shows you the benefits of Agent OS. So just write this email, send it to 20 people. Send it as you think of new people, you just have it in text expander and you just have it ready to go as you're like, oh, I just ran into whoever. I'm going to email them and just say, hey, I'm doing this workshop. I think it'll be helpful for your team.
This is what I love about the whole workshop model. I feel like every time I talk about it to fellow founders or entrepreneurs, like I don't know, I feel like a lot of people I explain it to don't quite get the benefit of this model. They see it as like sort of a distraction, like, oh, don't do workshops, just focus on Builder Methods Pro or just focus on the product, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think I actually think it's such an incredible mechanism
Yes.
because it's like it's so low commitment, but it's still above free. It's you pay for it. It's a 2-digit price tag.
Mm-hmm.
It's a if you want, you don't even have to attend live. You can get the recording. But
Yep.
if you do attend live, you can just hang out for 30, 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's like it's like, to me, like anyone in our industry, a $25 or $50 ticket is whatever. Like if I kind of want it, I'll just pay for it. Doesn't matter. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like so low commitment, but it's also enough of a signal to be like, yeah, like that's not nothing. Like I am actually interested in that. You are scratching a pain that I have.
Yes. I also like it because it's just another, if we're talking about increasing your surface area for luck, yes, you want to keep doing the repeatable YouTube thing. But another sort of network effect is emailing Heaton Shaw and saying, hey, I'm doing this thing. It's been really helpful for people. I know you're writing a lot about AI. Maybe this is something people on your team would benefit from. But also, P.S., if you know other people that you think should go to this, can you just forward this email to them? And you're just giving people, you're increasing your surface area that whole network could work for you as well.
Yeah, exactly. And also just like, I think that like our industry, our circles get so hung up on the idea of like, what is the product? How can you charge more for it? How can you optimize the revenue per customer?
Mm-hmm.
Charge more, charge more, charge more.
Yeah.
But what I'm realizing with the value of this workshop model as a top of funnel mechanism
Mm-hmm.
is that if you're only selling a high ticket product, and even if it's just a couple $100, like that's high ticket enough that like if you send it out to a bunch of people, they might even be interested in it, but they're not going to be interested in it right now. They're going to be like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe at some point, and then they will completely forget about it forever. And also like it even a couple $100 is enough money for them to not want to just pass it on to their coworkers or their employer or their friends, because it's like nobody wants to promote a several $100 purchase to friends.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's an offer that's like, oh, like, we've been sort of struggling with this problem. Here's the thing. It costs like almost nothing. Like
yes.
the very least we could do is just buy a ticket and watch the recording.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you do that, it's like, I haven't lost them forever. Now they're in my email list. Now they might even go to the workshop, and like chances are they're gonna see an email or 2 or 10 from me over the next couple of months,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna become members. Like I think it's so essential to have some mechanism like that at the top that's not purely free. It's valuable enough to be like noteworthy.
Yeah.
I
love it. I love it. I think I've got 2 kind of follow-ups to that. One is, again, these kind of prompts to people that you know, like sending Heaton an email or whoever, it becomes something that they can then use. So, for example, if you send me that email, and I think you should, I need that prompt. I need that reminder in my day that Brian's doing something. I have no idea when you're doing it. I'm going to forget. You might DM me and I'll still forget. If you write me an email and say, hey, I'm doing this. If you know anyone that would benefit from this, or if Transistor wants to do it, please sign up now. And I will then go and paste it in the Vernon Geeks Slack, because there's a bunch of 25-year-olds that need to learn this stuff. I will go to my co-working Slack and talk to the people that work at these big companies that have expressed interest in this. I'll be like, hey, that guy Brian I told you about, he's doing this thing. You should sign up. I will go to my own team. So it activates a connector like me who will then, you're just reminding me, you're giving me a prompt to go and do something. And you could even specifically ask that I go do those things. So I think that is helpful.
It's interesting because, again, it's like it falls in that like sweet spot in the middle where it's like it's sort of time urgency. Like it's a workshop that's happening on this date. So you don't want to, so you'll just like throw it in like the next chance you get. Second of all, it's like, again, it's not priced too high because that would turn you off from being too promotional to or salesy to your people. But it's also not free. It's not just another newsletter or just another YouTube channel. Like, like nobody wants to promote somebody else's just free YouTube channel. And then like everyone else who just sees that is going to be like, so what? Why do I care about this? You know?
Yeah. I think it's like, it's valuable enough, especially because people might have already heard about Agent OS or things like this, or they just might be struggling with it. And you're giving people the opportunity to advocate on your behalf. So if I walk out of this door right now and I go for coffee with somebody and they tell me how their team is struggling in this way, it gives me something to recommend them, right? The second thing I wanted to bring up is I just got this email yesterday. This blows my mind. Hi, Justin. I saw you, interacted with you on social media years ago. I bought a marketing course from you as well. I knew that you started something to do with podcasting, but didn't really follow as it wasn't particularly relevant to my needs. Fast forward, we have a podcast now and need to distribute it to various platforms. I went and looked. This guy bought marketing for developers from me 10 years ago. 10 years ago. This is kind of how it works, is you have a long career. This is one of the benefits of having a long career, of being on the internet, of helping people. And when this guy knew me, I was doing something completely different. But he had kept enough of the thread that when it came time, who's he recommending to the company for their podcast? Transistor. That's a 10-year sales cycle. That started with him buying a course for maybe $199 or something like that. Yeah.
And like, I think that goes to show just like ship a lot of stuff and like actual products too, right? Like I still get people in my inbox who are like, yeah, like I bought your productized course back in 2014. You know? And like, I think back to like, I'm not a big course buyer myself, but I have bought a few over the course of my career. And like there's one or two that I bought like 10, 15 years ago that like something about like paying for somebody's expertise, even if it's just in the moment, like I just need to learn that one skill from this one person.
Yeah.
I'm basically going to keep tabs on what that person is doing. Maybe if it's once a year just to find out what they're up to, or the next time I hear their name, I'm like, oh, that's that person I bought that course from years ago. Like I do think about that.
This is why I love the catch-up email. The subject line could literally be an update or catch up or whatever. And that's just to say, hey, it's Brian. I'm curious to what you're doing these days. I've seen a little thing. And I just want to let you know what I'm doing right now. I've just done this, You know, we've interacted in the past. Just wanted you to have the update. Those emails, like, you got to send them. You got to send them, especially to those key people that I think, can still be influential and helpful. And it's just another lever to pull and saying, here's what I'm doing, right? Hey,
I do like that, like for sometime in the next month or two, because like at that point, this just becomes even more real. It's a couple thousand in MRR. It's already probably crossing 100 first customers. I've got this YouTube channel that clearly I've been doing. So it's like, this is going. This isn't just another idea. Like I've been on this thing, it's getting real now,
I just found a bunch of these emails that I wrote a blog post on this. It's called justinjackson.ca/100-emails. But yeah, here's the email I wrote when I was talking about Transistor. Hey, Nate, this year I'm building a SaaS with another guy from Chicago, John Buda. It's called Transistor.fm. At the time, it was the best way to create a podcast for your business. We eventually got away from that positioning. Folks
you don't claim to be the best anymore?
Yeah. Folks like Redacted are investing big into podcasts. They have whatever. We want to make it easy for companies that might not have the same resources they do. Here's a quick demo I made for Balsamic. Balsamic never signed up, by the way. I just made that demo. We're thinking of having a product
they're coming
side
around
and
on
a
that
service
10-year mark, right? Like,
yeah. Has your team thought about doing a podcast? If so, I'd love to show you Transistor. So these are personal notes that I wrote to people. I also wrote personal notes when we launched on Product Hunt. It's a classic do things that don't scale action, but this is it can be massively helpful.
Yeah, I remember that Nathan Barry playbook in the early days of ConvertKit. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think we did it. We did not hold to segments at all. Rip segments, but sometimes that's what's great about podcasting. We're not an AI that you just prompt once and then it spits out content. That's
what happens when we get going on a couple rants,
Yeah. And Mitchell Davis just joined the live stream. Mitchell, you're coming in at the end here. This was good. Let's do it again. Maybe next week. What's going on next week?
Yep, I'll be around.
All right. Next week, I think I'll be here.
Right.
My wife, believe it or not, my wife and I are celebrating our 24th wedding anniversary.
Whoa. Yeah. Holy crap. You guys got together early, huh?
We got together early. So I think I'll be here, but depending on our plans, I might not. But thanks, everyone, for joining.
Yeah.
Live in the chat. Folks. We'll see you again.
Later.
Bye. All right.
Good stuff, man.
Thanks, everyone in chat. I
gotta get these docs written so I can try to ship this thing tomorrow.
Do it, man.
All right, man.
Should I wait to install Agent OS? Like, is this new version? I should just wait.
Yes, probably. Honestly, I get so many questions about 1.x, and I hate telling people just don't even touch it right now because 2.0 is totally different.
Okay,
it's the same goals, delivers on the same problem and solution, but the whole architecture is different. So
get it done. I want to use it.
Yeah, man.